So I went to see not one, not two, but three movies this weekend. So here are my quick thoughts on all three. First, I saw Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which takes place a year after the first film, where chaos once again ensues when Freddy Fazbear's animatronics reemerge. For context, when it comes to the game series, I have played a very minimal amount. I've also looked into the lore here and there, but overall, I would not really call myself a true fan of the series. So, when the first movie came out, I wasn't exactly blown away by it, but I did enjoy it enough and thought it was a pretty decent movie. That was not the case this time around. I honestly wish I liked this movie more, but it was really hard to when there was barely any semblance of a cohesive story here. On top of that, all the characters here were still just as paper thin as the previous movie, with Vanessa in particular barely serving a purpose other than being a walking exposition dump. I do think all the animatronics were very well done, and there were a few good jump scares here and there, but overall, there wasn't much here that I liked. And while I'm sure fans of the series will get more out of this movie, I simply was not one of those people. Next, I got to see Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair, which is basically the original combined version of Kill Bill 1 and 2 that's been given a wide theatrical release for the first time. I am a big fan of the Kill Bill movies, and I did not expect to ever see this version, let alone in the theater. In terms of the differences between the two-part version and The Whole Bloody Affair, not only is there an extended anime sequence in the first half, but there's also a few minor but effective changes made to the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, and I'm not simply talking about the inclusion of an intermission. If you've never seen Kill Bill and happen to have a plan to watch volumes 1 and 2 back to back, then I'd say you might as well watch the Whole Bloody Affair version, as this is definitely the best way to watch one of Quentin Tarantino's best movies, in my opinion. And then finally, I went to see Hamnet, which is a fictional account of the marriage between William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes, and how the death of their son inspired Shakespeare's play, Hamlet. This one was just heartbreaking to watch. The film does a great job at developing William and Agnes's relationship in the first half before getting into the tragedy in the second half. Jessie Buckley, who plays Agnes, does a phenomenal job in this role, bringing a level of emotion that could sometimes be hard to watch, so to speak, in some scenes, but always elevated them at the same time. I do think Paul Mescal, as great as he also was, didn't have as much to do until closer to the end, but by the end, and the end is incredible, I was more than sure that what I just watched was probably going to make its way into at least my top 5 favorite films from this year, as I am not going to be forgetting any of this anytime soon.